Hey guys, it is Tuesday, I believe it's the 9th of April. I'm losing track of time. Landscaping is good. I'm running around like a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest right now, but we got a little snow and some pretty windy weather today. So, not a whole lot going on. A buddy of mine's bringing me out a motorcycle helmet to paint. It was either that or buy a new one, but for less than half the price of a new one, and there's nothing wrong with it, I'm going to go ahead and paint it. So I'll kind of show you what's been going on around here. I'll go cut the heat off here for a second. It's kind of cold. Okay. Let's see. This is what it's like inside my shop. Somewhat. Got some equipment laying around out of storage. There's my mower. Yeah. Lawnmowers everywhere. Kind of dark in there, but there's two more walk-behinds, another rider. Sort of sharing shop floor space here with a buddy of mine. He needs a place to store his stuff right now. So, we're kind of clustered in here a little bit, but we make do. I'll take you back into the mixing room. Like I said, not a lot been going on. Got a couple pieces of wall art here. Got those from the paint store today. Asked them if they had any calendars or anything I could throw up on my wall so I can have some Matrix stuff laying around, and they gave me those two posters, so I slapped those up in here for a little color. So anyway, my buddy's bringing me a helmet, so I did the old cabinet clean 'em up trick and bring this out and see if there's anything that strikes his fancy. He was thinking maybe a white, so it's not real hot. I got this Ford Z1, that's Oxford white. That was from that F350 we did earlier this winter. That red right there was done with the Chromovision camera, but it's actually off a '93 Buick color. It's like a garnet red. Not exactly my favorite color, but that car's long been sold, so we might use that. I don't think he wants red. I have 1, 2, 3. Those three are all chroma base. 2 of those are mid-coat colors and 1 is white, the base color. That was for my wife's 98 Acura TL that she had, that I'd done some paint work on. The first time the paint got mixed, we ended up with the Honda base color, which was the wrong base color. So that's why I have 2 of those. I wanted to make sure I got the Acura one the second time around. We have this 2000 Lexus color here, Smoky Topaz Gray Opal. I don't know if that tells you what it is. It's kind of it's actually a pretty dark, almost a charcoal. It's not showing up too good on the can. There's that guy. Then there's Dark Bronze, hello focus, Dark Bronze Mist, which is a metallic. That car also got sold. That car and the red car here both belong to my buddy's grandparents. One's pretty much done with her driving career at this point, and the husband traded both the cars in and got a newer Buick. They like their Buicks. Got a nice one. It's almost the same color as that, but it's a way newer car, so I fear that that color won't match anything they have. What's this? Chrysler, do a little zoomage. PKJ Light Almond. That was my old man's car. He had a I want to say a late 90s, early 2000 Intrepid. That color is just pig vomit to me. I can't stand it. But, you know, my dad's had always, when he had bought vehicles, he liked his browns and his golds, so that was his shtick, but that car's long gone too. And then I have this Estate Green, which is, that's a Ford color. That was for a, oh gosh, I want to say an 04, even though it says 99. Chroma base, or DuPont is weird with their numberings because they might have started using it in that year, but irregardless, I think that was maybe an '05 Ford color. A buddy of mine who's in the business, that was a color Ford he had. It's actually a really sweet color. You can't tell because they're dirty, but I had leftover. It's the color of my stools here. I had done that, so that's a pretty nice color. It's almost an olive color. That's about it. Take a look inside the paint cabinet here. And I don't know that I'd use the word empty to describe it, but the top shelf there is my base coat shelf, and the second shelf has some reducers and some rattle cans and some other stuff on it, and my equipment books, some manuals in there. I'm kind of at a premium for space here. So that's what's going on there, and what I'm going to work on here in the next couple minutes. Got some more filters for my paint booth, and we're going to get those installed and monkey around with that sort of thing. Another thing I did today was I put a new high flow coupler on my hose out here, and I don't know if the camera will pick this up. Get in some light here. There's a little O-ring down in there. This is the new coupler. The old one, the O-ring was all swollen up, and I couldn't figure out how to pick it out or change it or whatever. And you disconnect the hose and it would continually shoot air out of it, like something was wrong inside of it. These are like $5, so I was looking for the ones with a little push button on the side, but they were out of them because those are nylon. I kind of like those, but wanted to give those a try. They didn't have them. So that's where we're at for now. The other project that I might get into, probably not today, had these 17-inch wheels for my Ford Super Duty. The guy that I bought the truck from had these laying around. They were chrome, or not chrome, aluminum, polished aluminum, and now they're, I don't know, it looks like somebody dipped them in an acid bath and then sprayed them with salt and oil. I started to clean one of them up. After acid and all that, they look halfway decent, but you get up close to them, they look like shit. So I may paint these. Watched Greg Porter's video, had some ideas of my own how I was going to do it. Pretty much basically what Greg did, etch them, although his were a steel wheel. I've got one, they barely fit in the glass bead cabinet, but I've got one in there, and I've got I want to say aluminum oxide in the cabinet, which is a little too crazy for doing these. I did one spot, and it takes the garbage off of them quick, but I'll show you that. I'm afraid I'm going to etch too far into them, but I was going to do that. Sorry for the shaky cam, guys. But as you can see, I mean, that was at like 60 psi, and it really bit into them. But what I was going to do was etch them with the sandblaster to get all that crap off. And I thought about maybe getting some walnut shell or some plastic bead or something like that to see if it would just take the crap off of them and try and polish them. But I might color key them into my truck. These are a 17-inch simulated beadlock wheel, 17 by 9, I think. So they'll make the tires stick out a little wider if I get bigger ones. That truck's an 02, so it came with 16-inch wheels instead of 17, so these will look a little meaner. I just put new tires on that truck earlier this week. I had one that had a horrible flat spot in it, and I was trying to milk them out, and it wasn't happening. I ended up getting a big bubble in one of the front ones. They were Firestone Steel Techs, which were recalled for ply separation in their time. Unfortunately, they were the original tires to the truck. These are Transforce ATs. I don't like buying tires. I mean, I love having new tires, but you know, it's a lot of dead presidents to throw a set of tires on a truck. There's $1,000 worth of tires on that truck, and these are not super duper fancy, you know, extra wide, extra big, mud terrain. They're just a nice all-terrain tire, but they've got, I'd say, every bit of a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch of tread on them. So let's see how those do. These rims look like crap too. They've got some pits in them and where the wheel weights were on them. This truck had Buckshot mutters or Maxxis mutters on it when I got them. They had some big weights on them, so they had the tires remounted on them, but I don't think they rebalanced them. So irregardless of that, those wheel weight marks in the pits, I like these aluminum wheels. I don't think I'll etch these and paint these. I like having the bright aluminum on the truck. It sort of sets it off. But I also have my 01 Duramax. It's getting some brake lines put on it. All stuff I could do, but I didn't know I was going to be down today, so I dropped it off at my buddy's shop and he's working on it. This truck, yeah, it's losing the cab corner there, which it was losing before, but now I've got a little bit of peekaboo rust there that's coming out. And the bed, the wheel arches on this one were going anyway, but I don't know if I'm going to get to this because my 01 Duramax needs rockers, and I have the rockers here. I've had them since last spring. Never found the time to put the truck down, but if I get slow, I'm going to put it down, and when I get that truck back here, I want to throw some ideas by you guys that do this. I don't know that I want to weld them on entirely. I will weld them because they are sort of integral support to the side of the vehicle. It's a 4-door truck, but it's not a crew cab, which means it has the suicide rear doors. So there's no pillar in between the two sets of doors. Those trucks flex a lot in there. I noticed on my Ford, in the roof channels, rain gutters, whatever you want to call them, there is a reinforcement that it's like a rubber or a heavy, some sort of strip that's sort of seam sealed in there and painted over. And I think that was Ford's solution to keeping the roofs from buffeting in the wind and just going ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Because the Chevys, the extended cabs, will do that. GMs, whatever. My truck doesn't do it real bad, but some of them are terrible. The way the wind goes around those roofs, it just makes them noisy. So we know those trucks flex a lot. So that's what I got going on for now. I'll turn you back on when the helmet arrives, and I'm going to work on getting some filters. Ladies and gentlemen, Bell helmet here. It's not a full face, but it's got this little visor that goes on top there. You can go up or down, whatever. Stickers are under the clear, which is awesome. We're going white. So she's got a few scuffs in her. Not going to get too carried away. I'm going to maybe wet sand this thing with 400. See what happens. I don't have a problem with the stickers being under there, except they're going to show through. So I'm going to see if the liner of this helmet comes out, and we're going to go from there before I start sanding on that and make a mess of the liner. Project number 2 that I just finished. Got some filters in the booth. This was made to have an internal filter, and instead I bought the green 98% efficient filters in the 20 by 20 squares and made a frame so that fits in there snug. And I don't think I ever fired this thing up for you guys, but I basically put a switch on it, and I need to get something to aim that kind of away from where I'm working. That's not going to take the solvent out of the room, but for small jobs, little prep jobs, that'll work nice. Well, basically that's it. And I don't have anything to sort of spray here, but I'll give you guys a little demo here when we get going. But I have used this thing in the past with the original filter that was in it that was just plugged to all hell. And this is made as a small parts booth for painting like brake pads and things like that. And you can see it's got some pastel-y colors on it and things like that nature. So I'm going to sweep up the floor here. I've been playing Johnny Carpenter here, and I'm going to get that all cleaned up real quick. Okay, I got sidetracked here and started sanding on this thing. It's been painted before, just as I suspected. Yeah. I don't know if sealer's going to cover that sin. Some of these spots I cut back to the fiberglass. I'm probably going to end up pig priming this thing with a little feather fill or some high build, something. We're going to try and throw a coat of sealer on it and see how bad it looks. I don't know how the hell I'm going to paint this visor either. I got it hanging up here. That's going to be an ass ache. So I'm going to throw a coat of sealer on it. I've got the sealer mixed up. I'm going to throw it on there with my Sada. I don't know, maybe I can cover it in 2 layers. I haven't had good luck with that sealer covering up too much because it ends up bullseyeing. So we'll probably end up letting that flash off and throwing a coat of high build on it. So more work. This is what happens when you pick it up and then drop it back on the paper. I don't know if the camera can get that. It's dark in here. Yeah. Good job, moron. It's actually, it's hard to spin it and get the camera to focus at the same time. It's hiding the sin. There was a stone chip in it up there that I didn't get out. It looked like lacquer paint on it at some point. The clear was definitely lacquer because I buzzed through it with 400 the second that I started sanding. So it's been about 10 minutes. I'm trying to nib that trash out of there, and we'll hit it again. But it's definitely, it hid the sin, so it's better than having to sand this whole stupid thing with feather fill or whatever on it. So, okay. I'm on the way home from the shop. I got that helmet and primer. Thought it was sealer. I grabbed my high build primer. I swear it said sealer on it. So that didn't end up working out to where I thought it would. I thought I'd let it sit for a little while, let the stuff flash off, and throw a coat of sealer on it, and no can do. It wasn't warm enough in the shop to do that. I ended up doing it and got a few little solvent pops in it and tried to dust them. I thought they were fish eyes at first until I realized what was going on. So we'll come back in the morning. No harm, no foul on that one. Kind of wondering why that that sealer was hiding so much sin. It's because it was a high build primer. I just thinned it down to and I put the wrong activator in. I put my sealer activator in it, so we'll see what kind of cocktail that leaves us with for the morning. We'll see what's happening. I was able to wet sand real quick and knock that spot where I bumped it into the paper on my stand, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'll get this uploaded for you guys. This is, we'll call this part 1 or something. It's already getting long, plus all my babbling at the beginning of it. So hope you guys had a good day.